Welcome back to Talking Shit, where we are talking all sorts of shit. Shit's Creek, that is. Today, we are talking about season 5, episode 7, A Whisper of Desire. And of course, as always, I'm not alone. I'm joined by someone who loves to give 6 ovations, 3 by request, and 3 on the house. Stuart!
I feel like I deserve them. I feel like I should be offering them to people to give to me. Yeah, this episode was so good after what was somewhat of a disappointing episode last week. In comparison of everything, I feel like we're back on the horse, and we're cooking. This was great. I feel like setting up for something. Like I've been told that there is something big coming. I'm assuming it's perhaps set up in this episode. I can only hope.
I mean, I will say,
to God, if we don't get it, Jess, I'm gonna riot.
I will say you did make some guesses at the end of last season, one of which was some sort of a music festival, some sort of a Jazz the Gals musical thing. We do get a hint, a whisper of Cabaret. This episode. So yeah, this is a big season 5 storyline. I can confirm. I don't think that's a spoiler. I feel like it would be ridiculous to have one episode, make Moira the director, and then completely drop the storyline. So it is going to happen. You're gonna love it. I can specifically think of like 2 reasons why you're gonna love this storyline. One of which is next episode, which I've been teasing. But I can't help but tease it, Stuart, because it's been 5. I've waited so long for this. Over a year, I've waited for this, Stuart. And I know you're all like, oh, well, you know everything that happens, and I'm the one who has to wait week to week. And me. Yes, but I have to keep secrets, okay? And I'm not good at that, and I don't like it. So this is going to be really great come this time next week when we're all on the same page about what I'm really excited for you to see.
Yeah, but what if I don't like it? That's
You're gonna
the
love
worst.
It. No,
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will because, like, generally, your recommendations are spot on for me. Like, it's very rare that you've like steered me in the wrong direction. I can't think of anything where you really have. Maybe I've just been a dick and said so just to kind of like carve out something. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, it could happen. I could just not enjoy it for some whatever reason.
It's possible. It's very unlikely, but that's next week's episode. We still have to talk about A Whisper of Desire. Don't forget to subscribe, Talking Shit everywhere. Follow us. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. We're getting so close to 200 subscribers. And I've already forgotten what we talked about possibly doing once we get there.
So we seem to have rejected the idea of waterboarding, which we've talked about for some time.
Can't waterboard. Yeah, off the table.
I did propose Australian accents for a whole
episode. Right.
I don't know if we can do that. But with Cabaret on the board, let's do German.
Oh, God. That's even, it's even worse, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I can do a German accent. I don't even know if I could. It probably wouldn't be very good.
Sustained for like a long podcast as well. Probably not best.
Also, speaking of Australian, we did get a really funny message from Aaron, our Australian listener, who said, "Pahaha, you pavos don't understand my lingo." And the best part is, I will try and use more Aussie slang in my feedback. I promise I'm not a total bogan, though. I don't know. What is bogan? What is that?
Bogan. It's like a derogatory term. Like, I think it's like the Aussie version of a hillbilly. If I
like
rightly.
A redneck. Like a, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Does that mean, is that like a thing where the more bogan you are, the more like silly language you use? Like slang?
I guess so. I don't know, really. I think it's like, maybe bogan's like, I don't know, stereotypical Aussie. Maybe.
Oh.
Because I imagine if you use all the lingo, I imagine that's probably why, isn't it? Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a bogan is to Australia like people who say the word "in it" after every sentence in the UK. Because like I'll be watching some reality TV that takes place in Britain, and they just be adding "in it" to the end of a sentence when it doesn't need it there. It's just, oh yeah, there's a sandwich in it. Like, what do you mean in it? Like, yes, it's a sandwich.
Yeah, but in it, like, they're asking for confirmation. They're looking for approval here. In it.
We're already so off track and we haven't even started talking about the episode yet. I think, we said we like this one better than last episode. I think we'll get into the nitty gritty. But first, let me do a quick little episode recap in case you didn't rewatch the episode. Everyone, do you hear that? It's very quiet.
What is that? Do
you listen closely. I think it's a whisper of desire.
Yeah, I hear that.
At least that's what Johnny thinks when he hears, that's what he thinks he hears when Ted's mom comes into town and starts being very kind towards him. He gets very nervous at what he perceives to be advances made in his direction. But it turns out Ted's mom is dating a much younger Zumba instructor. So good on you, Mrs. Mullins. Good for you. Meanwhile, David is forced to watch Roland Jr. while working and uses the abandoned baby to his advantage. David pretends Roland Jr. is his to schmooze a potential client, and it works to great success. And you know what? Good on him. If someone abandons a baby at your store, make the most of it. Lastly, we have to talk about Cabaret, baby. Moira hears Jocelyn is putting on a town production of Cabaret, which Patrick is auditioning for, and can't help but get involved. Eventually, Jocelyn asks if she just wants to direct the play herself, which Moira agrees to, but of course ropes Jocelyn into being assistant director, aka Moira's assistant. Let's be real. This should go smoothly, right, Stuart?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be no hiccups whatsoever. Yeah.
God, there's so much to talk about this episode. Where do you want to start, Stuart? We have a couple different storylines to pick from.
I feel like Cabaret is going to be a lot to get into of like hopes, expectations, and stuff. So let's leave that.
Okay.
Perhaps. I mean, let's like go for the whisper of desire. This was. I mean, first off, Johnny really isn't helping himself with the whole rankings in this episode because immediately he starts off with a big kind of like black mark against his name.
Yeah, maybe don't say someone is full figured. Like, just don't comment on their appearance in any particular way. Literally, all he had to say to Stevie was like, hey, we're expecting Ted's mom. If you hear someone call themselves Mrs. Mullins, you'll know it's her. But beyond that one moment with Johnny, is it weird to say I'm on his side? It feels like she's flirting with him, like pretty much the entire episode.
100% she's flirting with him. Like, but I don't think it's necessarily like it's not intentional. Like, she's not flirting with him with the hopes of anything happening, clearly, because she's into a Zumba instructor. I think she's just flirty. And
I think she's just kind, right? Like, this is Ted's mom we're talking about, right? I think like this is where my head goes, right? Okay, this is a woman who is newly divorced, dating a younger man, has lost a bunch of weight, looks incredible, has I assume this is a new outfit. I don't know why, but this like red jumpsuit thing, I was just like, this must be a new outfit for her. She's feeling herself. And if you're feeling yourself, you're probably more likely to just like flirt with people, you know? So I agree with you. I don't think this is intentional flirting in terms of like, I don't think she's trying to seduce Johnny, but like certainly feels flirty. And I understand Johnny's concern because in his mind, like, imagine if your wife is Moira and another woman starts flirting with you. We don't know how Moira will react. And he's just like a very nervous, kind of anxious guy. So he's like, no, I'm married. Oh, it's awkward. Oh my God, this is my daughter's boyfriend's mom. Like, there's a lot of complications happening here. I don't want to offend her, but also I love my wife. You know, he's put in a really tough position when she's very obviously flirting with him. And no one will believe him. No one listens to him.
Well, the thing is, though, is that I don't think she necessarily flirts with him. It's a very kind of like, I think, an earnest reaction to him being like, oh, well, the room's on the house kind of thing, because he is giving her free boarding at the motel because he refers to her as being fuller figured. And as the camera's behind him, he does the hand gesture of like, you know, fuller figured. And it's like, Johnny, you are doing
Yeah.
this as a way of
Yeah.
trying to dig yourself out of a hole that you've dug for
Mhm.
yourself here, buddy. And then she is reacting as someone who probably isn't taking that to heart because obviously she's like confident in herself, like is very much like very comfortable. And she, I think, just sees that she doesn't see the slight, I think, because it's not really applicable to her. And so she's just there going, okay, well, I'll accept this kind of free room. And he's being very generous all of a sudden. And so I think she's throwing that energy back to him. And the two of them get into this kind of like vicious cycle of flirty politeness where
Mhm.
both feel kind of obligated to kind of like be kind towards each other and stuff. But also like they talk really like in a familiar way. Like Johnny talks as if he's met her before. And so she must know about Moira, right?
Well, I'd assume they've met before because he knew what she looked like. Like they seemed
Yeah.
familiar with one another. So I assume this is one of those situations where, like, the last time Ted and Alexis dated, I'm sure they met. I mean, they were close to getting engaged.
Engaged.
Like they were like serious, you know? So I
Hmm.
assume they've met before. I assume she's met Moira before. It would be shocking if she hadn't. Um, I think this is just her personality, and now that and maybe it just comes off as very flirty, or maybe she just is very flirty. I
Hmm.
just love how like everyone poo-poos this idea until they find out that she is, you know, is divorcing Ted's father.
Hmm.
And the audacity. If I let me just say, if Ted was my boyfriend and his mom was getting divorced and he didn't tell me because, quote unquote, my mom wanted me to keep it quiet. You are sitting on this landmine of hot goss and don't share it with me?
He's such a mama's boy, isn't he?
I would
Like
be
I don't think
irate.
it's I don't think it's a lack of Ted wanting to gossip. We know that Ted's a gossip. Like we
Yeah.
heard that Alexis' side of the phone call before. I think it's the fact that he's a mama's boy and doesn't want to upset her. And I think if it probably came down to it, would probably choose her over like Alexis, because it's just the way he kind of is. Like Ted kind of strikes me as that kind of character, which
Yeah.
is it's not good look, Ted. Not cool. Like if you've got hot goss like this, you share it. Like especially really kind of inconsequential. Like who cares if Shit Creek is talking about your like marital status? There's like 5 people in this little shithole of a
Yeah.
town. Like who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, Ted, the audacity of you not to tell your own girlfriend that your mom's getting divorced. Like, what do you?
Hmm.
And to me, I'm not saying he's incorrect about any of this, by the way, but to me, this feels like, oh, I don't trust my girlfriend not to gossip, which, like, may be correct, right? Like, Alexis probably tells David, who probably
Fair.
tells Patrick, who probably tells, you know, no one actually, but like Moira then tells people. Like, people find out, right?
Mo-
Because
Moira's the point of like
Moira's the
dissemination
leak.
of all that, yeah.
Moira is the leak, which also is a funny idea for an episode. I almost wish we'd gotten that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was pissed off. I was pissed off at Ted for a hot second. Because give me the gossip, Ted. We live in a small town. The small towns thrive on gossip. What is that? What is the point in living in a small town if you're not going to get good gossip? Come on.
Stop sapping this town of its economy, Ted. We deal in gossip here.
Yeah, you
How
know how
dare
there's
you?
like the American runs on Dunkin'? Small towns run on gossip. That's how we survive. So yeah,
It's
but this
so I was gonna say it's so like kind of inconsiderate, but I'm so glad that we've got this whole like Alexis dynamic to the whole situation because we get her classic gif that I've seen before of her just like sliding up to the desk and then giving a little bounce with like the
so
hands.
perfect.
So funny, like just such a like pure. I must have used that gif so many times because I'm just like, what's the gossip? Hello,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
What is
it's
this?
perfect. It's everything. I also really love the moment between her and Stevie where Stevie's like, "What's that? What is I think it's a whisper of desire." And then Alexis wants to high five her and Stevie's like, "Yeah," but she like doesn't know cuz she's awkward. And Alexis
Yeah.
just hits her on the knee.
So their dynamic is so funny because it's like Stevie's just like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. No, go away.
so good. I love this entire. I mean, this storyline works for me. I think it's funny. I think that like it's innocent enough, right? Like we're never actually concerned about Johnny and Moira's relationship. We just get to watch Johnny like put his foot in his mouth a couple times, try to convince everyone that like there's flirting happening. And no one's believing him. It's a very cute storyline.
It's really funny to see Johnny like play the subject of some of the silly stuff, because ordinarily he's the one that is being the straight guy, and he's kind of is in this scenario, but he's also being a bit of a goofball by going along with it. Like even in the cafe where she like reached out for his hand and he like raises his hand and then gestures for her to walk forward. It's just like so like that following the the HR video that we watched a couple of weeks ago was just so funny because it was like, of course, he's just learned from his own kind of like teachings there. And he's just trying to like be like, no, hands off. I don't even want any accusations of impropriety going on here. And the reaction as well when they realize that she is divorced was just so funny, because Alexis's like whole demeanor changes dramatically, because it's like, oh God, maybe he is right.
Yeah. Immediate panic when she's like, oh no. Oh no. So yeah, that storyline is really fun. We get Ted back in the mix. Again, he doesn't have like a huge part to play, I would say, but I'm glad to have him back in the mix regardless. Let's talk about David and his day, because Roland, you can't just leave your baby with people. This man is working. This man owns a store. He doesn't have time to watch your child. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. Here's the thing. I will say, in Roland's defense, at least he knows the name of this babysitter. Like, this with Roland and Jocelyn is a step up from their behavior previously. So we are seeing an improvement in the capability of who they leave their child with. But this is not cool. If anyone were to try this to me, I would just be freaking out. Probably be like just a firm no, don't do this. Bye. I'm gonna leave my own store now. Like, there's no way I'm dealing with this. Just no part of it. Roland is just the worst, and the fact that he doesn't even come to the store really for like I think the applesauce thing must have been like an excuse, because he just wanted some quiet space to try and like make Roland Jr. go to sleep, right?
I think so. I feel like he was, because he walks in with the baby and he's like, oh, this is like baby heaven. It's so quiet and so like nice in here. But yeah, he just leaves Roland Jr. behind. And if I'm David, I'm doing the same thing. I don't know if I'm doing exactly the same thing, but like, you know what? You got to make the most of a situation, and you have a baby there. This lady thinks it's your baby. It's going to help the sale grow through. Realistically, how often are you seeing this lady? Even if she comes in, you just be like, babies at the babysitters. Like, you know, this is a white lie. It hurts nobody. Who cares? Who cares? Especially when you have to deal when the baby starts like crying and David just goes like, none of that. It's just perfect. Like me and David Rose have the same opinion on children for the most part.
So identifiable. Of just like I saw myself with David with that whole reaction of just like talking to it like it's an adult and just be like, no, we're not having any of that. No.
Yeah.
Cut
it's
that
perfect.
Out. It's perfect. The fact that he got the sale from it though, like this is a like slight trope almost of just like, oh, bumbling person sees the benefits of like looking after a kid, the kind of thing. It was nice that they just got that out of the way, but that was a little tropey, I will say. Like,
Certainly,
you knew exactly what was happening the moment Roland like left the store. I think the real comedy from this whole thing came from Roland's return, because when Roland comes back and talks about Gwen's situation, I was laughing so much.
Like, why was she wearing a rubber dress?
Exactly. That's so many questions. You're like, what is going on? She's wearing a rubber dress while cutting power lines. Like, what the hell are they doing? Oh well, we know Bob isn't home because Bob's auditioning.
Yeah, he's busy.
Like, what is going on at home? So strange. So strange. And then the fact that
Yeah.
Roland got electrocuted 3 times as well. And he's like, he looks so out of it as well. So funny.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. I feel like Gwen is one of those characters that we hear so much about through other characters, but we never really see her. And it's a huge miss, in my opinion, because characters like Ronnie and Bob and like all these other side characters are so treasured. And Gwen sounds like she'd be the most fun time. And we never actually get to see her. And when we do see her, she's just like a face in the crowd of Jazz the Gals. So it's such a disservice to this, like what could be an absolutely incredible character, to just never see her. You know, like I hear all of these stories and I'm like, I would love to see Gwen in the rubber dress cutting power lines. Like that's what I want. You know, give it to me, please.
I wonder if it's a bit like the Stevie situation, though. It's like Stevie? No, Alexa's situation, where Alexis tells us all of the weird stories of like her past.
Oh, her time with Vin Diesel, where she was like naked and laughing or crying,
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we saw any of those stories, like I doubt they would be as compelling as they are hearing about them kind of like after the fact. I like the fact that like Gwen is almost like a mythical beast that we get to see, but we don't get to see that facet to her and the kind of like oddities of everything. Like the small parts that we do get, she's a very sweet person, seemingly. And yet we hear these things and we're building like this whole image of her in our mind as to like something else. And like clearly it's just like imaginations going and stuff like that. And the stories that we must hear, like probably wasn't that kind of strange. Like she probably just had a garment that had rubber on it or something like that. But we imagine it to be a weird rubber dress.
Yeah.
That's like it's I think like keep it at arm's length. I'd love to, but like I think arm's length is what makes it funnier for me.
Sure. I just, you know how much I love Bob, which we'll get to this episode, okay? Don't you? It's in my notes, people. All right. I didn't miss it. But so I just picture like I know how ridiculous Bob is, and so all I want to see is his other half. I want to see is who married him and like what she's up to. But yeah, overall this storyline was really funny. I love Roland coming in and like I think he calls David. He's like, one time this guy took me shopping. Like David calling Roland Jr. little tyke. And the callback to the baby shower.
Yeah,
really
the baby shower. And he's just like, I thought from my dear friend Jocelyn. It's like, I remember it quite differently, David. You were not that happy about it. And I'm sure you can source like Tic Tacs with a more than a week's notice for another baby shower.
Yes.
For that delightful game of just throwing them
pill
into
popping for mommy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. This how's my big boy? It's just so funny. Like it's it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's the storyline with David and the store. We got to get to the main thing on the menu here, which is Cabaret, baby. Everything about this storyline worked for me, from the reciting of the story from Moira of like how she originally got into Cabaret, and basically David knowing it word by word because she's obviously told the story a million times. Why is it that every single time when she brings up the Reuben and then she goes, that's a sandwich, it cracks me up, it kills me every time.
Because it's a serious and part of like the lore of it all. I love the fact that Jocelyn, when trying to recall it, the one detail she does remember is the Reuben, and like she doesn't remember like the exact context of it, but it's enough that you know that Moira has told this story so many times, which is why David knows it so well as well.
Well, the fact that the parts that David is able to like echo back at her too, like the fact that Moira says the phrase far more siphonsifying every time she tells this story. I had to Google what siphonsifying means, okay? Like I've never ever used that word in a sentence in my life. And it's just a way to say like to satisfy someone's hunger. It's like, little did he know he'd end up biting into something far more siphonsifying.
And it's a very Canadian term as well.
I mean, that
based on
makes
a
sense.
little quick search.
Yeah.
like the commitment to it, like the dedication to like drawing that out. Moira's vocabulary is never not going to be hilarious to me, and the fact that Captain O'Hara manages to like cram these lines in, I'm not sure like if she's ad libbing them or whether they are into the script now and stuff, but they crack me up every single time. But yeah, the fact that David recalls that exact line verbatim is so brilliant.
Yeah,
And I love the
and
fact that Patrick was really enamored with it as well. Like Patrick was really
yeah,
taken by the story.
yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, I just thought it would be like a fun thing to do." Like Patrick, I think an underrated aspect of Patrick as a character is how community oriented he is.
Mhm,
Like he's the one who wants to do the open mic night. He always just seems like so eager to help people. He seems to know most people in town. He's very friendly, and now he's going to try out for the town production. Couldn't be me,
mhm.
couldn't be less me, but I could appreciate it in another person, you know? Literally the other day, my brother made fun of me and he's like, well, that would involve you leaving your house. And I was like, why would I leave? I bought it. I like it here. Like that's the whole reason I bought it is I like it here. Why leave? Yeah.
It's so bad. This is the thing. I adore Patrick. We are polar opposites of people,
Yeah.
and like I am very similar to you in the sense that like why would I leave? I'm
Mhm.
happy here. This is a nice safe little bubble. Don't make me come outside. The
I
sun
like my
burns.
bubble. Yeah. But yeah, the fact that
Yeah,
Patrick wants to audition is just like so sweet. And I love
it is.
Moira immediately being like, well, that's bold of Jocelyn. And then she
Mhm.
compares Jocelyn putting on Cabaret to the Titanic.
Based on the directions that we were seeing and the fact that Bob was gonna get probably a good role based on that audition,
um,
I don't think it's hyperbole to make that comparison. I think that Moira's actually nailed it. I think that this is rough seas ahead.
how actually dare you? Bob is an icon. And I'm going to share something with the class now. So if you're watching us on YouTube, this is for you. This man, look at that steely glaze he gives. Gaze, not glaze. Look at that. Look at that. He's
The
able to Bob Jog and then immediately glare. It's iconic.
blue steel.
Look at him.
It is of all the Bob Jogs, and we have been denied Bob Jogs for seasons at this
Mhm.
point. Like it was a big thing when we started partying about this, and we were like finding them hilarious. We haven't had one in for what feels like the longest time in the
Yeah,
world,
too
and
long.
we get possibly the best Bob Jog in this return
Yeah.
because it just goes from we get the arm sway, we get a full picture of it, and then we get it transitioning into the stare of him
So
just
good.
taking his role so seriously. He's delightful. I love Bob. He's stupid as hell, but I love him.
It's so funny. Like, and again, just Moira backseat driving this entire process is just so funny, right? She goes in acting like, "Oh, I thought we had a meeting here. Well, I'm already here." Is that really how you want the chair set up, Jocelyn? No, no, I don't
Mhm.
think so. Um, it's everything. I so admire Moira at times because the amount of times that I want to rip something out of someone's hands and take control of it is unhealthy, and
Mhm.
I'm able to like establish boundaries, but she just doesn't have boundaries in a way that I find so admirable.
Yeah. It's really bad because I think most people probably watch this and go, "That's really unhealthy behavior from Moira." And I'm looking at it and going, "Christ, that's a masterclass in taking control of the situation effectively and keeping everyone on side." I'm like, props to Moira. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, truly, truly it is just it's a masterpiece. She's just a master at it. I love Moira doing this. I love Moira then eventually taking control, right? And Jocelyn just seems relieved, right? Jocelyn is like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I was so overwhelmed. I'm so happy you're taking this over." And of course, there comes the kicker of Moira needs an assistant naturally. And she's
Mhm.
like, "And you know what, Jocelyn? It's even more work." And Jocelyn's like, "What did I do? What happened?"
As if Jocelyn couldn't be in a worse situation with her hair. She then takes on more responsibility as the director's assistant. This is poor. Like, I feel bad for Jocelyn, but then why put on a production of something if you're clearly overwhelmed by it? Like, come on, Jocelyn, stop taking on all this stuff. You just
have
got
a baby.
Yeah,
I don't know how many months old this baby is. I think more than a few months, because based on the lady's reaction to David saying it was like 3 months old. So you have a baby that can't walk yet. That's what I know. And that baby,
it can't eat granola bars and it can't walk. So like,
exactly. So it's young.
Too young.
So like, you're already stressed to the wazoo with all this other stuff you have going on. Now you're putting on a production, a cabaret, when very obviously Moira is better at doing this sort of a thing. Specifically, I think we can like joke and like, you know, Moira is being ridiculous and Moira is being over the top. But when Patrick comes in and auditions, she really does pull a performance out of him. And she's able to recognize like, he is our lead. This is our lead right here. He's the best that we've seen. And was he wearing a blue shirt in that scene? I really don't know, because it could have been that.
It was blue.
Of course it was.
It's like color blue. Yeah.
All I wanted was to be Jocelyn in that scene. That's all I wanted, you know.
I mean, fair.
Thank you.
Entirely fair. But the seduction. Just a hand on the side of the face was just a bit odd. Like, I did not like that.
I kind of love it more because, like, I don't know, there's something very intimidating about a person who is just like really, really good at like seduction. And so the fact that he's not makes him more
but just putting a hand on someone's like side of their face.
He's not attracted to Jocelyn.
It wasn't like an affectionate like caress or anything like that. He literally just went,
yeah,
like hands on the side of her face for a bit, and then transitioned to the shoulder. It was just very awkward in that moment. I love the setup to it though. I've just been like, imagine that he's been with many women and he's never derived true pleasure from it. And then Patrick went, I think I can wrap my head around that, which was so kind of sweet in its own weird way.
Yeah,
it's just like, of course, like he's talking about David and about how he's really like, it's really sweet. I love that.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love Patrick so much. And I love that he's now involved in this, especially because I think Patrick and Moira as a duo is kind of underrated. So getting to see more of them interact with one another is going to be really fun, right? Like even the very first scene when he comes in, he's like, David, you just said you were coming to get a cup of coffee. I got hungry.
And I love that he doesn't like, he only blames David in that scenario. Like, he doesn't blame Moira for being a distraction or anything, which she clearly is. Also, the scene of them eating and stuff, and then Moira just chastising David for eating too quickly, just so expected.
Yeah, perhaps your indigestion is caused by the speed with which you consume your food.
Yeah, he's like, I love this. Let's do this more often.
Oh my god.
But the Moira and Patrick's like relationship is one of my favorites because like ever since like butter voiced Beau and the whole serenading like that,
she tries to make Moira, Pat a thing.
Yeah, she clearly like likes Patrick. Like she seems to like light up whenever he enters a scene and stuff. Like,
who wouldn't? Stuart, who wouldn't light up when he enters a room?
Well, this is the thing. I don't think Moira would for most people who are delightful like that. It's like his charm has worked on Moira, and I think that like he has scaled Everest in terms of like, you know, appeasing the other half's parents that you don't think that ordinarily you would like appease. I think Moira holds very high standards for like whoever David and Alexis choose to go out with. I don't think Ted has climbed that mountain. We haven't got that vibe with Ted, but we do have it with Patrick. And that's what I like. That's what I appreciate about this.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. She does like him more than she likes most people. And I do think she sees potential in him in the scene where he's acting. I think she understands they have like a limited selection of people.
Yeah.
And so Patrick's probably her best bet at like actually putting on a decent show. So yeah, I'm really excited that we're at the start of Cabaret. Like, this is something I was really excited for you to see for reasons I won't say quite yet, because there's a couple of them. And one of which has not been revealed. But I guess good question that I now have is like, okay, we know we're getting a Cabaret storyline. You know Patrick is involved, and you know Moira is directing. Do you think anyone else, like any other named characters that we know, will be involved in the production?
So I'm thinking like character wise. So like I don't know Cabaret that well. I've not watched it in so long.
I don't think
But
I've
like
ever
the
seen
MC is
Cabaret.
filled with Patrick. So we know that big role is done. So then the other one is the main characters like Sally Bowles. So who's like the female lead. But like who's that going to be? Now Moira suggested herself, but
Of
seems to
course.
have conceded that probably isn't
Mhm.
going to happen. Like maybe she might convince Jocelyn to do it. We can get Alexis in that role. That would be hilarious.
Mhm.
Like Alexis would play a really funny Sally Bowles,
Can
I
you
think.
remind me, is the role of Sally, is it like a romantic thing between her and the character Patrick is playing, or no?
I
I've never
genuinely don't
seen
remember.
Cabaret.
It's
I
been
truly don't
so
know.
long. I literally only know the character name because I just Googled it. I know the MC because obviously it's like the Broadway revival and the ever changing cast of
Yeah.
stunt casting that they've been doing for that role and the craziness that around like all of that. But yeah, like I don't know if it is romantic. Would be quite funny if after the whole housewarming
Yeah,
situation
the
that
kiss.
was a
Yeah.
thing. That would be
Yeah.
quite funny if it was.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Alexis says Sally. Anybody else you think might make an appearance?
I mean, any of the jazz girls. Twyla actually. Twyla's probably the best.
Okay.
I think like because
Yeah.
they're like the kind of like somewhat shy a little bit. Like yeah, she does jazz gals, but like I
Mhm.
think maybe like giving Twyla a time to shine would be really funny. Like anyone that's out of character taking the stage, I think would really work in it. So like Twyla could really work.
Okay.
Ronnie, Gwen,
You know I'd die to see Gwen on that stage. Give her
maybe.
the stage. She'll shine like a
Yeah,
star that she is. Especially because she just got
yeah.
electrocuted.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
trying to think
really
of just
excited about
anyone
this.
that's shown any kind of like musical adeptness, really. And I don't think
Mhm.
there's been much of it. It's just the Jazz Gals and
Yeah.
Patrick, really.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We'll see.
curious.
We'll see. That's a storyline that will continue on, which I'm really excited about. Anything else, Stuart, before we get to our feedback?
Um, I mean, I kind of casually mentioned it, but I need to dwell on it a bit more. And I'm not sure if you've got this prepared for Wig Watch or not. But what the heck is going on with Jocelyn's hair? Like, it was
I
bad
don't
last
have it
episode.
prepared, but it's really bad.
It's really bad last episode, but this week, this is like what she's done to try and fix it. Jocelyn,
It's a look.
it's
A look.
a very bold look.
Yeah. I don't have Jocelyn's hair, but I do have the tiny Alexis gift that we talked about earlier.
Yes, that's the
So if you're
one.
watching
Just
us on YouTube, it's just a
sliding
slight
it up.
pop at the end. That's the best part.
So funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Sorry, I totally removed you from it instead of the
Rude. Trying to
um
solo pod.
trying to kick you out of the podcast.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, Jocelyn's hair is a mess. It kind of always is though. That I don't know if this is a hot take. Jocelyn's hair never looks good. It just never looks good. It always looks
Wow.
bad.
Drag her.
All right, let's get into some feedback here. First things first, I just have to shout out the listeners for being so incredible. So many people have come to my defense about Journey. Okay. We have
Okay.
Nick W saying Stuart's Journey take is the worst thing I've heard on a podcast this year. Take that. He's seen Journey one time. So
Biased.
that's, not enough times, but it's, still better than Stuart can say. Also, I think there was someone else too. I'm shouting out everybody. Zach, Team Jess on the Journey front, especially growing up with parents who listen to the oldie station all the time. Separate Ways is a banger and was used so effectively in Stranger Things, the trailer. Also, shout out to Jen. Stuart, I also thought I didn't know any Journey songs except Don't Stop Believin'. But then my daughter did Journey season at School of Rock, and they really do have a ton of stuff you probably would know and say, oh, this song, if you heard it. How do you feel about that, Stuart? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you want to apologize to anyone right now? Want to take anything back?
I think it's remarkable that people with poor hearing listen to a podcast such as us, because that's the only justification I can think of to explain it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't
You
want to
should
be
be.
that guy to troll everyone, but I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna double down. I freaking hate Journey, and I'm gonna they're dead. They're dead to me. Get them away. Don't ever talk to them about. Don't ever talk to me about them ever again. I'm outraged.
You're a monster. A monster. Anyway, shout out to you, the listeners, for understanding how incredible Journey is and appreciating their discography. We also got an email from Adi. I love talking shit and your takes on my most favorite sitcom. You guys keep it real and sometimes have hot takes that I don't personally agree with, but props for being honest and owning up to it. Love the podcast. You guys keep me company during my drive up and down from work and even at work sometimes when it all gets a little too intense and I need a sense of calm and happiness. I understand the happiness. Calm, I don't get, but I do appreciate it. I don't think I've ever been called calm in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I only wish I could dream of the day I could be considered calm. What I love more about the podcast is the cultural confluence of an American and a Brit discussing a Canadian show. And as a listener, sometimes I get too excited and pause the podcast to talk out loud to no one about my take as someone who watched the show and my Indian interpretation of it all. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense that we're an American and a Brit talking about a Canadian show, but you know what? Not a lot about this podcast makes sense. So I think that works in our advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly doesn't. I think like there are. I mean, we're not the first people to podcast about this show, and I think that's the one of like podcasting is that so many people like can jump on and just talk about it, and it's interesting to get like different takes on it. I like very kind of like interesting to like see whether or not like cultural differences do kind of like matter for it, such as whether you like Journey or not, because clearly it's cultural. I'm gonna say that. Is that am I clinging to this too much? Do I need to just drop it? Probably need to drop it, right?
You're a monster. If you're not American and you love Journey, please hit us up because I need to know. Okay. Because part of it is, I will admit, part of it is what Zach had said, which was if you grew up around like late 80s, 90s, and you didn't control the radio, I never got to control what we listened to in the car. My parents always chose, and this was the date. This was before iPods and all of that existed, so you're stuck listening to it. It was classic rock was what was always on in our car. So like I grew up on a lot of this music. So I'm just very curious to know if other people did as well. Anyway, let's move on to our ratings here. Stuart, do you know who is simply the best this episode? Was it an easy pick? Was it a hard pick? Where do you think you're going?
I felt like this is a bit of a hard pick because I don't think there's really a standout good deed. But after a bit of like umming and ahhing, and this might be a bit controversial, I'm gonna give it to Moira.
Okay.
Because although like maybe I'm projecting the sense of like taking control of something, and like I appreciate that kind of like nuance and how she did it. But like, what I do want to give her credit for is actually really helping the production. Like she kind of did add some really kind of like good ideas. And I think that perhaps while it comes from her need to control things and to like take the spotlight, I think that I don't think she would have done that had Jocelyn really wanted to do it. Like I think Moira is a good enough friend to kind of recognize that at the very least. So I think that maybe even if subconsciously, she knows that Jocelyn kind of needs a bit of a guiding light in the whole situation. And only from seeing Jocelyn kind of flounder a little bit, did she then take the kind of the permission to like step forth. So I'm justifying it that way, which might be a stretch and a leap, but I'm going to give it to her anyway because Moira was delightful in this episode for me.
I think as like a fellow control freak, I understand where she's coming from. So I don't mind that point. I'm going a little bit. I think my pick is a little off the board here, but my argument is that like I don't feel like anyone went above and beyond in a way that it's really obvious that they should get the simply the best point, and so I am therefore able to justify almost anything for my simply the best. And it honestly comes from a single moment in this entire episode. It's not from like an overall storyline. It is one moment, and it is Stevie saying the words, "A whisper of desire." Like it is that I can't tell you. I know, but it cracked me up so much. And there was something about Stevie like laughing when Alexis goes to high five her and like being proud of herself for like having that joke. I don't know. It was very sweet. Like I almost gave it to Alexis for the little pop-up gift because I think that's cute too. But truly, I also feel like it's one of those things where Stevie, because she is a quieter character at times, I want to give her flowers because I feel like I haven't given her much this season yet. And this was like a really good excuse to give her a point. Cause I just wait, do you hear that? I couldn't. I love that moment every single time I watch this episode. It's so funny.
It's really funny. While we record this, oftentimes I have like the episode open in the background and I like skip along the little timeline to like go to the particular scene so I can like catch them and thing. And what I just caught there as well is when they're having the discussion and Ted walks in, like Stevie just gives a little like clap and a little really big smile because she's just so happy that things are getting juicier as well, which is hilarious. Stevie's so underrated for these small little touches that get added. Like Emily Hampshire, really like knows how to add in these like little things that if you're looking out for them, then you're gonna like appreciate it more. It's really great.
She's a great character to watch on rewatches. If you've already seen the scenes a million times, like you're just picking up tiny things she's doing in the background. And it just made me so happy, the whisper of a desire moment, especially because it very much feels like, and obviously we're 5 seasons in, like this isn't news, but like scenes like this make me feel like Stevie is a part of the Rose family. You know what I mean? That she is like a fellow sibling making fun of her dad. And it just like warms my heart and also makes me laugh. So I feel like I can justify it. I'm giving with Stevie my simply the best point. As for the disgruntled pelican, the thing is there aren't many options here, and I just feel like there's an overwhelming gut reaction for me as to who this should belong to. And it's Roland. Like, don't just ditch someone with your stupid baby. Like, not that your baby's stupid, but like, what are you doing? Like, that's a living, breathing human being. You can't just pawn it off on someone. What if the baby starts crying? Like, David doesn't know what to do with a baby. Like, I don't know what to do with a baby. Why are you doing this to him? Just like so upsetting.
Okay. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the baby can't be taken where there are live power cables. Like, I feel like that's still a responsible thing. Like, he did the best he could do in the really extraneous circumstances. She's busy. Stop ruining this for me, Jess.
Yeah, she's doing cabaret auditions. A baby surely can't sit on those. Imagine Moira, if the baby shows up, the Moira being like, "Excuse me, what is the baby doing? It's making loud noises."
Oh gosh, that would have been terrible. I think so. Of course, Roland is in contention for it. Like that'd be idiotic to say otherwise. I kind of want to throw in. I kind of want to throw in Johnny, and I know that everyone always.
I thought you were going to say someone else, and I was going to freak out. I mean, Johnny, I understand. Yeah,
because like Johnny was a bit of a buffoon at the beginning of it.
Of course.
It was very funny though throughout the whole thing. But I'm gonna go with Roland, but I can't just. I don't want to just be like, yeah, Roland, definitely, because I kind of feel like he wasn't entirely bad, and I do want to acknowledge that. And also, Roland delivered some of the funniest lines for me this episode as well. So I kind of feel like I want to just dampen the LVP a little bit and be like, yeah, you get the points, but I don't mean it. I'm just ticking a box here, Roland. I'm sorry.
Yep. You know what? Don't do bad things, Roland, and you won't get disgruntled pelican points.
Fair.
Okay, it's that time again. It is time to tier rank the episode. Of course, as always, we have our tiers: hot shit, full bouquet, love that journey for me, you, David, and Schitt out of luck. Last episode, Rock On, was Love That Journey for me at the very bottom. It was borderline David, so we were like, whooshies.
Mm-hmm.
This one, A Whisper of Desire. I feel like you and I both like this one a lot more, Stuart.
Yeah. Enough to go up a tier level, though? That's on the fence about.
So right now, if we put it in full bouquet, it would fall beneath the dress, which I do think is appropriate. I preferred the dress to this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we, or we could put it at the top of Love That Journey for me, which would put it above The Plant, which is the episode we're introduced to Amir in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Let me break this down. So the Cabaret storyline, I love the Bob audition. I love Patrick getting involved. I love Moira's like reminiscing on being in Cabaret. That's all very funny. The Ted's mom and Johnny stuff is like mostly funny, sometimes cringy. Like it's, in my opinion, kind of an average storyline.
Yeah.
And the David storyline has some really funny lines with like Gwen's rubber dress and little tyke. They do crack me up. So I'd put them at like slightly above average in how I feel about that storyline. So it could really go either way. Like I could see it at top of Love That Journey, or I could see it at bottom of Full Bouquet. What do you think?
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember back to The Plant just to kind of weigh up the two. I think it really is close.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly see it as being a different tier to the dress. So I kind of think top of Love That Journey for me, if I'm entirely honest.
I think that makes sense. It's not again, this is average, right? Like it's not a bad episode. It's a good episode, but it doesn't stack up to these other ones. Which is what we're, obviously comparing it against. So let's put it in Love That Journey for me.
Done.
That's where it's gonna fall.
Love That Journey for me.
Yeah. So, Stuart, next week.
Now,
I can't wait.
Am I gonna get a clue from the name as to what this is?
I really doubt it.
Things have been okay, right.
I don't know that you'll even understand what this is because season 5, episode 8 is titled The Hospies.
Like, is it the Dundies from Dunder Mifflin? Like, is it an award ceremony?
You might say that.
The Hospies. It's going to be an awards thing for the hospitality thing. Like, 100%, they're going to get a nomination for something. Boom! Predicted it. I may as well write the show.
You're just that good, Stuart. You're just that good. Yeah, so that will be next week. You don't from the title, you'd not be able to figure out what that means, but everyone should just know there is a momentous moment next episode that I've been dying for Stuart to get to for over a year now, and I simply cannot wait. And also, I will say, Stuart, I think, and don't quote me on this because I don't know for sure. I haven't rewatched to the end of this season, but I think that from here on out, these are all really great episodes. Like, I'd be surprised if most of them weren't in like the above average tier. But again, I haven't rewatched all of it. So,
That's what I want to hear. It's what I want to hear.
And unsurprisingly, we're gonna have a lot of guests lined up at the end of this season. So get ready, baby. Anyway, anything else from you, Stuart, before we get on out of here?
Not that I can think of. I kind of just wanted to wrap it up so I can go watch this and find out what the hell is going on.
Okay, well, don't forget, check us out on Look for the Light if you're into The Last of Us. Last of Us Season 2 is currently on. We're really liking it. We talk through spoiler-free at the beginning, and then we dive into spoilers towards the end of the podcast. So definitely go check that out if that's something you're interested in. And find us at Talkin' Shit. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube so that maybe we'll do a whole podcast in accents or something like that. Even if you want to make a suggestion, go ahead. Suggest to us what we should be doing. I think that's everything we have. So until next week, warmest regards.
And best wishes.
Tweet us on Facebook or leave us a review and you say, yeah, okay, I think I will.